70 years before Magellan, Islam was already planted here. Nandito na yung mga evangelist. So when Spain said, kunin ko pati Mindanao, and I would call the Forefathers.
Ang dokumentaryong ito ay ginawa sa pangunguna ng Mercy Islamic Foundation sa layuning iparating sa mga tao ang tungkol sa katotohanan ng kasaysayan ng Islam sa Pilipinas. Na ang Islam ay ang relihiyon ng ating mga ninuno at kung paano sila dumating, namuno at nawala sa kapangyarihan sa ating bansa. Pinamagatan namin itong Call of Our Forefathers upang mabatid ng ating mga kababayan ang mga ikinubli sa ating kasaysayan at malaman natin ang panawagang pangkultura at paniniwala ng ating mga ninuno. Maraming salamat at samahan niyo po kami sa paglalakbay tungo sa ating kasaysayan.
In 1599, the Moros, aware that defensive war was leading to defeat, decided to bring the war over into the enemy territory and staged counterattacks. This was what hostile writers fondly called Moro piracy. The reprisal scheme was to cripple the enemy power base, exact tribute, and to take advantage of the critical situation faced by Spain due to the threat posed by the Dutch. One of these raids occurred in Dulag Leyte in 1603, where a Jesuit priest, Padre Melchor Hurtado, was captured by Dato Buisan in Maguindanao. In another raid in 1627, a Sulu fleet of more than 30 boats of various sizes and about 2,000 men, personally led by Sultan Bungsu, attacked the Spanish shipyard Indalupaon, Pasacao, Camarines Sur. The crucial point in the history of the Moros came in 1619, when Sultan Muhammad di Patuan Kudarat ascended the throne of the Maguindanao Sultanate. Succeeding his father in 1619, he conquered several datus and made himself the master of the Pulangi area. He controlled the present-day Cagayan de Oro and Caraga territories and made Misamis and Bukidnon his tributaries. Sultan Muhammad di Patuan Kudarat, the seventh Sultan of Maguindanao, was a direct descendant of Sharif Kabungsuan, and he was born in 1580. He was gifted with the exquisite qualities of a great leader. He was intelligent, religious, decisive, kind, and just.
My latest book on the birth of this armed struggle to MILF speaks about the movement of people and ideas. And so this leads us to persona. So you identify a persona. In that identity that we are talking about, individual or collective, that you asked about. So you look for heroes. You look for a persona who can represent the ideals. So Kudarat is picked as the persona that signifies it. You know, we are in the elementary grades taught only about Rizal, about Novini, about Bonifacio, General Luna, and so on, which is of the 1896 vintage, the Philippine Revolution against Spain. But though we have been struggling against colonials, we can identify heroes. Kudarat is only one of them, but the most famous. This figure of Kudarat emulates also the adherence to institution. It became a very powerful sultanate.
Holding Spain at bay for half a century and outlasting at least 8 governor-generals, he was regarded as providentially created to punish the bad Spaniards. He was able to negotiate with the Dutch and the Spaniards so that they recognize his sovereignty over these lands. The Spaniards tried but failed to conquer him in all battles. Spaniards were systematically defeated and forced to ransom their soldiers from the Sultan. Represented by the Jesuit missionary, signed a treaty with Sultan Kudarat on June 24, 1645, which allowed Spanish missionaries to minister to the needs of the Christians in Mindanao, even allowed a church built, and trade was allowed in the Sultan's territories. This was known as the Kudarat-Lopez Treaty.
Nagkaroon ng treaty, peace agreement between Kudarat at saka the Spaniards. The one who signed the peace treaty for Spain was a Jesuit, si Lopez, and of course, the Sultan himself, Sultan Kudarat. That was a very good move on the part of Sultan Kudarat because at that time, the Spaniards were intriguing the people of Buayan, who was in conflict with Sultan Kudarat. And Sultan Kudarat had to subdue them in order to consolidate his realm so as to be effective yung kanyang resistance against the Spaniards, magkaroon ng unity among the Muslims here, the Moros here, and he could effectively fight the Spaniards. During the lull, during the ceasefire, he was able to consolidate his hold over the people here in Maguindanao and Buayan. But he was worried about Lanao because he knew that the Spaniards would be coming to Lanao because that was part of the treaty. So after consolidating his realm here in Cotabato and sa Buayan, finally, the people of Buayan, the chiefs of Buayan accepted him as the sovereign. He went to Lanao 7 years after the signing of the Lopez Kudarat Treaty. This was in 1652. It was a wise move on his part because he was hitting many birds with one stone. First, yung treaty with the Spaniards gave him the opportunity, the space and time for him to consolidate his realm dito sa Maguindanao. Secondly, the chiefs of Lanao, Northern Lanao, ayaw magpailalim sa kanya. So, ginawa niya ito para, the same manner that what he did to the people of Buayan, to the chiefs of Buayan, mapailalim sila sa kanyang sultanate so that he could effectively fight the Spaniard in a united realm. That was September of 1652. No? When the chiefs learned that he was coming, binigyan siya ng malaking piyesta. He told them, sabi niya, the Spaniards are coming. You have to fight the Spaniards. And that was when the chiefs, they protested. They rejected his offer na hindi namin kakalabanin ng mga Espanyol kasi wala naman sila rito. That was when he made that speech of his, that famous speech.
In his famous speech exhorting the Maranao Datus and Sultans of Lake Lanao to carry on the fight, declared jihad against the Spanish invaders.
O kayong mga Tagalawa, na sadya lang nakakalimot sa inyong sinaunang kalayaan ay tuluyan nang nagpasakop sa mga Kastila. Ang inyong pagsuko ay lantarang kahangalan. Hindi ninyo lubos na nauunawaan ang kalakip ng inyong pagsuko. Ipinagbibili ninyo ang inyong sarili para magpaalipin para sa benepisyo lamang ng mga dayuhang ito. Kung kayo ay mas mahina ang loob kaysa sa kanila, asahan ninyo ang katulad na pagtrato. Kayo, tulad nila, sa ayaw nyo at sa gusto ay magiging tagasagwan. Tulad ng kanilang ginagawa, kayo ay magbubuno ng braso sa kanilang pagawaan ng mga barko at magtatrabaho ng walang humpay sa hindi inyong pampublikong gawain. Matitikman ninyo ang pinakamasiding pagtrato habang naninilbi ang alipin. Magpakatatag kayo. Hayaan ninyong tulungan ko kayong lumaban. Aking ipinapangako, buong puwersa ng aking sultanato ay ipagtatanggol kayo.
Sultan, paano naman ang aming mga ani? Tama.
Eh ano naman kung manaig ang mga Kastila sa umpisa? Hindi ba't iyan ay katumbas lamang ng isang taong ani? Mas matimbang ba ang halagang yan para ipagpalit sa panghabang buhay na kalayaan?
the Maranaos went down to Iligan, where the Spaniards were already preparing for the invasion. They attacked the Spaniards doon. So that was the beginning of the resistance of the people of Lanao because of that speech made by Sultan Kudarat.
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!
Sultan Kudarat's period was the golden age of Islamic jihad against the foreign aggression, and he became the symbol of the unconquered Bangsamoro status quo until the present period. Sultan Kudarat died at the old age of 90 in 1671.
Through that speech that you referred to, exhort the Maranaos to resist Spain, to a point that is why the Spaniards made that policy of isolation, because the Maranaos resisted after Kudarat made that speech.
The colorful epic and unfolding historical saga of Islam will tell us that we, both Muslims and non-Muslims, can come to terms to achieve peace and harmony in the Philippines. Tolerance and mutual respect is the key to this effort. Assalamu alaikum.